So Donald Trump is losing friends and losing fast.
I didn't know that he even has a friend.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing with Trump is he buys people, and whether or not you consider that a friend, that's up to debate. But he is president of the United States, and basically he's chasing away our allies, and it's a big problem. So we just recently had some elections. What's going on with that?
So Australia and
hmm
Canada had an election,
Right, and who won?
anti-Trumpy party.
Right. So basically, what's going on is like people are seeing Trump for who he really is, which we kind of knew, but we're seeing it even more than the
Mm,
last time around. And essentially, you're seeing, oh my God, he really is that bad. And if we go down the Trump route, like, what are people thinking about that?
getting worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want that. And so essentially, for many of these sort of right winger people in, say, Canada, Australia, who sort of tied their
Mm,
talk, their speeches to Trump, I mean, that's just not where you want to be. And the people are ultimately rejecting that. What's been really inspiring, though, is actually what people have been saying around the world. So, for example, in Australia, this is coming from Albanese, who, again, they just won. Quote, our government will choose the Australian way
mm.
because we are proud of who we are, right? That's come from Albanese. They also say, we do not need to beg or borrow or copy from anywhere else. What do you think about that?
So, the losing party,
hmm
they even made a MAGA symbol, same as Trump.
mm Yeah, like make Australia great
Yeah.
again, that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I mean, this is something that where for me when I see Australians stand up and when in my opinion choose the anti-Trump or choose the pro-democracy way, that's the way to go. But it doesn't have to look the same as USA,
Mm,
right? I mean, they say literally our government will choose the Australian way, and you guys do what makes sense for you. In Canada, it's been a similar kind of situation. Their slogan is actually pretty cool. This is actually coming from Carney, who also, essentially
mm.
their party won. They've been all about elbows up. So what does that mean?
Elbow stuff?
Yeah, elbows up. So it's like hockey sort of
Oh,
talk, right?
is that a hockey like culture?
Well, we're gonna like fight back.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
usually in hockey, because we used to go to hockey games all the time, you throw down your gloves and then your elbows up.
Oh, I
Because
see.
you could say in British culture, and they're kind of related where we say throw the gauntlet down. Like I throw my
Uh,
glove down and we're gonna fight. I don't know if
yeah,
you
we
guys have
say
a sort of,
가돌이요.
what's that?
가돌, boxing,
Oh,
That's
kind
it.
of
Yeah, yeah,
put your
yeah.
block up maybe or something like that. Yeah, so the elbows up has been a thing, and this is actually coming from Carney. He says here, President Trump has ruptured the global economy. America's leadership of the global economy is over. It's still in play, but it's a tragedy and our new reality in this trade war. Just like hockey, we will win. So, when in doubt, get people talking about hockey in Canada, and that sort of, is a real pro-Canadian,
Mm,
movement. These days, and I can't speak to Australia, and I want to hear from Australians out there, but these days, many Canadians are effectively boycotting USA. They're just
mm,
like, I'm not going to travel there, no
yeah.
vacations. I'm just going to, buy Canadian stuff. Are we doing that here in Korea? Are people like,
Not really. Not like anti-America. Just our
mm,
news start kind of make fun of Trump.
right? How do they make fun of Trump?
Like in the cabinet meeting, they don't
Mhm.
really talk about real stuff. They just like how great Trump is, and he's
Mhm.
kind of smiling and happy to listen, compliment.
Right. So essentially, the news reports like, oh, they just said a bunch of nice things about Trump, and that was it, right? Like
Yeah.
they make fun of it, and then they made the joke of like, and they did that for 2 hours. So usually the Korean news is actually fairly polite about this sort of stuff,
Mm.
but lately things have actually changed. And true story, we just met with Yeji's family, and usually that we don't talk about Trump stuff. It's just
We
not,
don't really talk about politics stuff at all.
Yeah. So what were they saying with your family?
You were talking to my uncle.
Right, and it was fascinating. So the uncle, like oftentimes, and you've mentioned it with your friends, they might just say, "Oh, Trump's trying to help America," or just like that, because that's kind of like
And
your
yeah, and
perception of it.
news says, he's like strong, he's trying to protect America.
Yeah, yeah, that would be before
Yeah,
you would
yeah,
hear that
yeah.
stuff, and then these days they're just like, "Trump's crazy. What's he doing with the tariffs?" Right? And then even your cousin was talking about tariffs.
Yeah.
And usually when I talk to AG's cousin, we just talk about like video games for real.
Mm.
Like I ask like, what's your favorite video game? This kind of stuff. And but like because the tariff situation, it affects everyone,
Everyone.
right? If there's a massive, drawn out
Mm.
trade war with China, I mean, it affects everyone. One of Yeji's cousins, and because he's got more than one cousin, is also in drop shipping.
Mm-hmm.
So he deals with factories in China all the time, and it's just like it is a major concern. Or many jobs here in Korea, the idea that you would build cars, build whatever, and sell that stuff to Americans, but not just America, but everywhere. But it's effectively you're messing up with global trade. And the funny thing about it is when you read the news of various countries, I'll just say Canada, Australia, and Korea, it's actually very similar to the USA. One of the things that people are really concerned about is like the high cost of housing. Like everyone's concerned about that stuff.
Because
It's expensive, right?
Korea, our most of asset is on house.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say that's almost every country in the world, right? That's like for many families, that's where they put their money in. And if you feel like I can't even afford to live, and then on top of that, you're gonna have food and fuel prices, these kind of things. And so oftentimes politicians will come out and say, okay, this is my solution for said things. But then what really turned it was who is going to stand up to Trump, basically, right? So that's kind of part of the election issues in Canada and Australia. Like, I can negotiate with Trump better. Carney from Canada, I think he's going to meet with Trump on Tuesday. So I'm actually really curious how that's going to turn out. That's actually a pretty early meeting.
Yeah.
So
he just won, right?
Yeah, yeah. And Carney, in his situation, he's really, well, the best way to say, I would say, seasoned or experienced. I think he'll do fine, but you never know. You never know.
Even if you're smart, you can have you're a good negotiator, but the other person doesn't listen at all.
Yeah, or they just break all the promises.
Yeah.
Like so, what do you do there? So from Canada's point of view, they're actually strengthening ties with the UK. And I think it was like Charles is going to come from the UK and open up Parliament for you guys, that kind of stuff. I'm mentioning all these things to you guys because you have to understand that we're all connected. And when you see this pattern of people like going, man, I'm going to stand up to Trump, or I'm completely going to reject Trump. It's like a big part of politics these days. Japan also actually made an announcement. It was their finance minister was kind of, and it depends how you want to portray it, but we'll just say this. I would say threatening to dump U.S. bonds or U.S. debt, however you want to put it. Do you know which were the top 3 countries that hold U.S. debt?
Probably China,
right?
And Japan.
Right. What's the number 3?
I think UK.
Yeah. And so like these are major companies, and at any moment they're just like, you know what, screw you, USA. we're dumping all your debt, and that would really really damaging to the Trump people, because essentially what they keep trying to do is they want to cut taxes. So basically they want to have deficit spending. They want to raise the military spending but cut everything else.
Okay, you know what?
What's that?
Trump gonna have military parade on his birthday. So
yeah.
he cut other budgets and just put on his birthday basically big party.
It's like who does that? Well, I tell you, it's like, well, what kind of people like to have big military parades?
Kim Jong-un,
yeah.
And actually Xi does that too.
Oh, Xi and Putin.
Yeah, Putin.
Yeah. That's who Trump is like copying, and he always does that to where, like, Trump literally tells you what he does, who he is. He's like, last time I was talking to Putin, and Putin's got like that really cool military parade, and he was like bragging. I was like, I wish I had a military parade too. It's like, well, my birthday's coming up. How about for my birthday?
Yeah, it's gonna be his great birthday party.
And we laugh about it, but it's like, just think about this. Like, how do Americans accept this to where if you feel like your gas prices are too high, your egg prices are too high, your home prices are too high, and Trump's like, you know what? I want to have a military parade.
Black eagles flying around, and your tanks are shooting.
Yeah. It's like, is that what Americans want? And you're like, oh yeah, let's get that military parade. And so he's planning this crazy thing. I'm reading right here. It says the parade is supposed to have 150 vehicles, 50 aircraft, and then 6,600 soldiers. And then I guess it's gonna be a day long, a bunch of fireworks, musical performances, and a fitness competition alongside military demonstrations. So I don't know what the fitness is, like professional wrestling
soldier competition.
Yeah, well, you know what? Now when you put it that way, it's just going to be a reality TV show.
Yeah,
they're going to have Team A versus Team B, and then people get eliminated or whatever.
Each unit compete each other.
Yeah. Now the funny one's going to be the fireworks situation is coming this July. Will there be enough fireworks in USA? Because are they made in China or not?
Yeah, I read that
for real.
From the news
Mhm.
says like 96% of fireworks is from China.
That's going to be an interesting one. Now, my personal opinion on this stuff, just my opinion, I'm not a big fan of regular people having like explosives, but that's just me. Because some of those fireworks, they're literally just
Yeah.
explosives, like So I when I was a kid, I used to think Fourth of July, like in terms of Fourth of July holiday, I got no problem with the holiday itself, but I used to think fireworks were cool because I was a kid. But then the older that I got, and actually a lot of my friends who have pets really hate the fireworks part of it. So it's not that we're
I see.
anti-American.
I
I just
see.
don't necessarily want my neighbors blowing stuff up all night.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a crazy thing to say. And there's a lot of people. I'm not alone in this. So I would be okay without fireworks. And for me, if people just had like the sparklers and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but
And maybe
the
if city does like drone fireworks instead of real
yeah,
fireworks.
that's been a new thing. So like say in Busan now they just have drones fly around and they'll make like really cool shapes. Like the drones are like really cool, and that's part of again moving forward and like thinking about okay, how can we make things better opposed to blowing up a bunch of stuff and polluting the ocean. So basically we're talking about so when I was younger I used to like and I still like fireworks. Don't get me wrong, I think fireworks are cool, but maybe only if it's city controlled opposed to my neighbors blowing us up next door. Um, we have to mention this stuff because Trump is like off to the craziest crap. And every day I tune in the news and I'm just like, Yeezy, look at this next crazy thing. The parade thing I thought itself was pretty nuts. But then like other thing that literally just popped up today was I guess Trump wants to send the U.S. military into Mexico. And I guess we're going to be fighting drug gangs or something like that for real.
Why?
Well, to be fair, it is the Mexico cartel is a legitimate thing. They are a legitimate problem.
I know. They send drugs to everywhere.
Yeah, but like, do you necessarily want to involve our military in another country? I mean, this is here. Let me just read some of the quotes.
Yeah.
So this is from President Claudia Sheinbaum. She said, is it true or not? She's like, it's true. Trump said, how can we help fight drug trafficking? I propose that the United States Army enter to help you enter Mexico. Sheinbaum then said, no, President Trump, our territory is inalienable. Sovereignty is inalienable. We can collaborate. We can work together, but you in your territory and us in ours. We can share information, but we will never accept the presence of the United States Army on our territory. It's just kind of funny. It's just like, okay, you can help, but you over there and us here, just please don't come. What's that?
Yeah, but he just take care of yourself first.
Yeah, so
you guys have a lot of drug problem in USA.
So that would be the argument. Would be
the drug from Mexico is
that they should go there. So that would be the argument. I'm okay. I'm not against U.S. in assistance, but sending the U.S. Army.
No, that's
right?
big no.
Because there's other things you can do. You can provide intel. Theoretically, you can use your satellite imagery, stuff like that. So yes, the you and there and us and here, and also too, if you're going to do anything, you want to develop partnerships and not this idea. Because I think from any country's point of view is we the way Trump talks about other countries is like we're going to win, you're going to lose. You should treat me like the Pope. That was the latest thing that they tweeted out.
That's really, disrespectful.
Yeah. I mean, as you guys know, the Pope recently passed away. They're all picking a new Pope, and it's like the White House official account on Twitter is like picture of Pope as Trump as the Pope is really bizarre. There's so many things that they do.
I don't know who's the PR person of the White House.
Yeah, that's what people keep saying. And then yet there's another thing too. They've been tweeting out like kind of like a music video. It's like live of Trump, and then it's just a list of all the Trump's. It's like the Trump Lo-Fi channel. If you want to watch it, you can. There's 3 million other people watching it. I know when you hear about this stuff, you're like, what the hell? But that's what we have to deal with on a daily basis. Now, the main thing though is I want you guys to know that if you're watching this channel, you're not crazy. You're in the right place. We see what you see, and mostly just want to keep you informed and keep us all sane together. And know that it's not just Americans that, again, you're not alone. There are many countries around the world who are resisting Trump, and you're seeing the wave turn in the other direction again to fight back. So do appreciate your time, everyone, and we'll catch you all in the next video. So bye.
Bye.